Hello, everyone. Welcome to yet another session of RC analysis, conversation analysis, all those cases which you see more or less in your IPMAT Indore, right? So, plenty of questions coming across, plenty of RCs to practice through. Uh, just follow us and keep on working on your RC. Fine. So let's dig deeper. This is session 4, passage 4. Let's see what do we have in this. Which kind of passage do we have this time? Okay. So conversational analysis is actually a new pattern that has been seen in IPMAT Indore, right? So yes, you need to read this because the questions are a bit different. It does not come across just like the questions that come across in your regular RCs. Fine, more or less analogical, metaphorical, and that's why we need to have a strong hold over how to read a passage and how to understand the words and phrases which are given across. So let's see. Okay. So the topic for today is about, let's see. Today we are discussing digital vigilantism. Okay, vigilantism. You know what is vigilantism? Of course, vigilantes. We have followed DC and we have followed the Justice League and Superman, Spider Man. All of these people, they are taken to be vigilantes, right? But we are talking about digital vigilantes out here. So they are the ones who are going to work upon the digital platform. Okay. We have seen a rise in doxing. What exactly is doxing? So doxing is when you see what is written across and cyber sleuthing. So sleuths are basically the one who investigates, right? So some people who investigate and try to get to know about more about what the people are doing, what are they, um, all kind of mysteries and secrets that they can bring out of one's life. Okay. We have seen a rise in doxing. So what is doxing? Doxing is basically when you publish the secrets or some identities of a person, of course on social media, and of course for on an on a malicious way, in a malicious way, right? Malicious intent. So your intent is to defame him or something like that, right? Let's move on. Where private citizens take it upon themselves to punish perceived wrongdoers. Remember the word perceived wrongdoers, which means like it is not necessary that they would be wrongdoers, but it is perceived. Okay, it is taken, it is understood, it is interpreted that they are wrongdoers. Okay, so when private citizens take it upon themselves, they are not going to the police, they are doing it on like on their own. They are trying to punish a person who they feel is the uh, criminal, right? Professor Kyle, is this a democratization of justice? So the question to Professor Kyle is whether justice has become a part of the democracy, that people can have it in their hand, anyone can come across and provide justice. Professor Kyle, I call it the short circuit effect. Okay, in a functional democracy, justice is a buffered system. Buffered system means it's not like not something which would go across and happen just like that, right? Or very quickly. So buffered is like it is due with due time, gradual, and happens at takes its time. Okay. We have the police, the prosecution, and the jury, each acting as a cooling chamber for public emotion, right? So many a time, what really happens is we have seen that Out of public emotion, the crowd, the mob becomes frenzy, and then there are lynching, and there are so many other cases, violence, um, everyone trying to give justice, or they are trying to take the justice in their hand, right? But when there are, you know, people in between, okay, police, we have got the prosecution and the jury, so all of them, they are actually acting as a cooling chamber, they are acting as a shock absorber, right? So that the public emotion does not go out of hand. Vigilantism, especially the digital kind, removes those buffers. There are no buffers. There is no gradual stuff. It is just a direct, something that goes just like that, right? Uh, Very quick. It's a direct current of raw, unverified anger hitting a target. See, when I'm reading this, I'm also getting to know, of course, you would also be getting this part. The author is not very happy with vigilantism, right? As per like Professor Kyle, right? So he's actually saying that this is a pure power of which is raw. Raw is unchecked, right? Raw is unfiltered. Unverified anger, which means like the anger is there, but it is unverified. Just because somebody said, or just because you perceive that it was wrong, you start hitting at the target, right? It isn't the democratization of justice, it is the weaponization of the mob. So, as per the author, as per Professor Kyle, this is not democratization, this is more of weaponization of the mob. So, a mob is getting weaponized, they are becoming more angered, and now they can actually attack, right? So, there would be plenty of violence in this, which is, of course, he's not in favor of host. But isn't this rise a symptom of institutional inertia? So institution is organization. Of course, vigilantism does not fall under any institution. So this must be talking about all the other institutes, as in institutions, as in the police, the forces, the jury, and other. Inertia means what? Inertia means something which is lacking in action. Okay, to do nothing, right? When the state fails to protect the vulnerable are the people who are prone to any kind of abuse, right? The victims, right? Shouldn't the vanguards, as some call themselves, step in? So, who are vanguards? So, these are the people who take the leadership to come across with a new idea altogether. What is the new idea? To save people, right? So, they also call themselves as vanguards, right? And so, step in. So, host is actually saying like when there is an institutional inertia, when there is nothing that the people in power doing or the authorities doing, so isn't it good that some people are stepping in and doing the needful, and whatever they call them as, they call themselves as vanguards, right? So it's a good thing, isn't it? So Professor Kyle, that's the classical vanguard fallacy. So he says that this is actually wrong, and it is a classical fallacy, right? Fault. A vanguard believes they are filling a vacuum. So they feel like they are bridging the gaps, right? But they are actually creating a state of nature. They are actually creating a new state of nature, right? What is that? The state is slow because it is constrained by due process. Okay, state is slow. Why? Because there are processes to be followed, right? The vigilante is fast because they are unconstrained, while on the other hand, vigilante, what are they are very quick because they are unconstrained. You would not they would not limit themselves to anything. If they feel that the person is wrong, so it is wrong, there is no other way. Okay, if we celebrate the vigilante today, so if we feel that yes, vigilantes are the right kind of people, they are doing the right thing because we agree with their target, because whatever they target at, we agree with it, right? Yes, so and so person is wrong, he's villainous, and the vigilante has attacked them. So, okay, yes, they have done the right thing. We lose the right to complain. So, what would happen? We cannot complain when they target someone we support tomorrow. So, maybe someone we know, someone we support, someone we follow, the next time that person gets what? Targeted. You cannot say anything, you cannot complain. Why? Because when they did it the first time, you actually agreed to it, you supported it. Fine, you thought that the justice has been served. So now you cannot do it when someone out of, like, someone whom you know is getting the same treatment. Justice without a uniform is just a highly motivated opinion. So he says, as per him, justice without a uniform means like without any regulations, of course, because the uniform would talk about rules and regulation as well. It is just a highly motivated opinion. It is nothing but a highly motivated opinion. So a person who is very, you know, prejudiced, right? A person who might be orthodox, judgmental, can come across and call himself to be a vanguard in that case. Host, how about the accountability gap? In many cases, these digital groups have actually solved crimes that the police ignored. So there are so many cases that police have ignored, but these people, the vigilante, so-called digital vigilantes, they have come across and they have what? They have solved it. So isn't that a better deal? So, shouldn't we be having that accountability gap? We are not holding them accountable for this. We are not giving them their due. Professor Kell says they haven't solved crimes, they have gathered data. So, they have not solved any crimes, they have just gathered data. The curation bias here is immense. Curation is when you curate things, you select things, right? Here is immense. So he says that there is a bias, and that bias is huge. What is that? We see the three times they got it right and celebrate. So maybe out of many, three times they got it correct, and we are there. We are celebrating the whole thing that they have done such a nice work. But we ignore the 300 times they destroyed an innocent life because of a low resolution video or a misinterpreted tweet. Fine, which means so many times they have gone wrong, but there is no one to go through that, right? So we want to just, this is the curation bias, we just want to select those which we feel would help us understand these people, but we need to see the numerous times that they have actually failed. Okay, the economic alpha of a vigilante is their speed. So what is good for them, what is nice for them is their speed, but their moral debt is the lack of reverse gear. So what is the problem? The biggest problem is the reverse gear. They cannot go back. Once what is done, they can never come back on it. You cannot undox a person once you have actually written malicious things about the person, once you have defamed the person. How can you come back from that? Once the internet has decided they are a monster, and once you have put it across the internet, everyone knows that yes, he is uh, a criminal, he has done something wrong. It would be very difficult to come back on that. Okay, how many people can you go across and say that no, it was wrong? Okay, okay, so let's come across to the first question of this. In the context of the conversation, the short circuit effect most closely referred to. So, what is this short circuit effect talking about? Here it is. I call it the short circuit effect. What is that? Doxing and cyber sleuthing, where uh, private citizens take it upon themselves to punish perceived wrongdoers, and Professor Kyle calls it as short circuit effect. Okay, keeping that in mind, let's see. The failure of electrical grid. Okay, of course, it was nothing to do with a literal electrical grid during a period of high civil unrest. No. The bypassing of legal procedural safeguards to deliver immediate punishment. Yes, definitely. Vigilantism is all about this, right? They bypass the legal procedures, whatever the legal rules and regulations are there. They just go away from that and they just want to do what they just want to deliver the punishment. Yes, I can keep B part for the time being. C. The democratic process of allowing citizens to vote on judicial outcomes. Okay, totally out of context. C. D. The cooling effect that public emotion has on the speed of the prosecution. No, short circuit is actually not the cooling effect, it is just the opposite, right? It is very quick, right? So B part is not working. So answer is B. Question number 1, your right answer will be B. Question 2, what does Professor Kyle mean by the Vanguard fallacy? So Vanguard fallacy, you must remember what is it? That's the classic Vanguard fallacy. What is that? A Vanguard believe they are filling a vacuum, but they are actually creating a state of nature. Okay, the state is slow and all that. If we celebrate vigilante today because we agree with their target, we lose the right to complain. When they target someone, we support. Okay, fine. So all these things has to be kept in our mind. Let's see how it works. Mean by Vanguard fallacy. A belief that traditional institutions are too fast to react to modern crimes. No, of course not. Rather, they feel that there is some kind of institutional inertia when it comes to traditional institutes. So A part goes away. B part says the idea that vigilantes are working in harmony with state mandate police forces. They are not. C. The mistaken belief that private intervention is a legitimate substitute for state due process. Yes. So what is the problem? A vanguard would believe that whatever they are doing, the private interventions they are doing, the way they are punishing, the way they are judging is actually legitimate. It is lawful in substitute for state due process. State due process, as in, forget about the police, prosecution, or the jury. They can come across and get into a private, they can privately intervene in a case and bring across judgment themselves. Okay, so yes, this part is a vanguard fallacy. We can keep it. Then we have got D part, the philosophical theory that justice is a highly motivated opinion shared by all. Shared by all is again no, not working for us. So therefore D part goes away. The only option that comes across to us is the C part. Question number 2, the right answer will be C. Let's go to the third part. According to the text, why is the state naturally slower than a vigilante? Okay, because the state lacks the economic alpha and speed of digital technology. Lacks. It is not given across to us whether they lack the speed or something like that, right? So, yes, A part we can remove this. B part, because the state is intentionally lazy. Definitely we can easily remove this from here because it is never mentioned that they are intentionally lazy. C, because institutional justice is legally bound by the constraints of due process. Because whenever there is institutional justice, there is legality out there and it is bound by the process, right? Yes, of course, which can make it slower. C part we can keep. D part, because the police are currently suffering from a lack of vanguard support. They don't need a vanguard support. So yes, this time the elimination was quite easy to be done. The answer is C. Okay. Always remember your paper is totally scattered, right? You would not expect that 1 to 6 questions, whatever the questions are in that RC or whatever, will always be difficult or very hard. Nothing like that. It's always scattered. So it can be easy to moderate to difficult. It can be moderate to easy to difficult, or it can be difficult to easy to moderate. So all type of questions you should go through, because at the end of the day, if they give you a, because there is a psychology out here. If they have a difficult question and then you are stuck in that difficult question and then you go to an easy question, maybe the next question is placed and that question is quite easy. Okay, But what would happen is, because you are trying to do it and you cannot make it out, and you have just been suffering in the previous question, plenty of problem out there. So what would happen, it would take a toll on you. And when you are doing that question, that second question, you would actually feel that it is, maybe if you're getting the answer easily, you would still feel that something is wrong out there. Fine. This is the effect of an entrance exam if you do not practice well, if you do not practice enough. Okay. So yes, question number 3, the answer is C. Let's come across to question number 4. The curation bias. So what was the curation bias? Something to do with how we are choosing, how we are researching, right? Mentioned by the professor suggests that public perception is skewed by focusing only on the rare success of vigilantes. Public perceptions is skewed. Okay, what would it mean, skewed? Skewed is like fixed somewhere. Okay, by focusing only on the rare success of vigilantes, right? That's what he said. He said that here is immense. We see the 3 times they got it right and celebrate, but we ignore the 300 times they destroyed an innocent life, right? So yes, definitely we can understand that there is a bias out there. We just check the 3 times or the some specific times that they have actually succeeded. So A part, yes, we can keep it. B part says digital sleuths are better at organizing data than traditional police detectives. Not given across to us. They are not as a not working as a curation bias for us. So gone. The internet is an effective tool for archiving and curating evidence for trials. Again, out of context, we don't have anything, nothing given across to us. Innocent lives are only destroyed when the data gathered is of low resolution. Is only destroyed when the data gathered is of low resolution. So low resolution definitely talks about some kind of video, but of course it's not always about the video itself. So this is very specific, and therefore D part will not be our answer. The answer which is workable is A part, because it says public perception is skewed by focusing only on the rare success of vigilantes. So we, this bias is towards the vigilantes, right? We favor vigilantes because we feel that they are doing well, but the problem is that we ignored the numerous times or numerous failures that they have gone through, right? Okay. So question number 4, answer is A. Let's go to question number 5. What is the primary moral debt of vigilantism according to Professor Kyle? The financial cost of repairing the lives of those who were wrongly accused. Okay, is that the moral debt? No. Financial cost? Definitely not. The inability of the digital mob to retract or undo a wrongful punishment. Yes, we can actually keep that, right? The inability of the digital mob, fine, because it is, we are talking about the digital vigilantism, right? To retract, go back, okay, or undo a wrongful punishment. Wrongful punishment means where they punish an innocent person and now they are unable to go back on that. Fine, they cannot undo the punishment. Yes, B part, this is a moral debt they have to pay, the problem that they had to face. The secret desire of the vigilante to eventually take over the role of the state, not given to us, so definitely not working for us. The lack of high resolution video evidence in most cyber sleuthing cases. Again, this goes across, though it was a part of it, but okay, just using the word, it is a distortion. We can simply remove this, not working for us. D, C, all goes away. The only answer which is possible out here is B. So when we talk about question number 5 in this, the answer is B. Question 6. Which of the following best describes the professor's final stance on vigilante justice? It is a necessary evil in a world where institutions have become inert. Okay. So it is a necessary evil in a world where institutions have become inert. Institutions have become inert. Is this professor's stance? No, this cannot be professor's stance. and therefore A part goes away, right? Necessary evil would also mean that we can't live without it, and we like it has got both pros and cons. Okay, so but he was not talking about in support of vigilante justice, so we cannot have A in any way. B, it is a sophisticated form of data gathering that helps the legal system. Nothing to do with legal system. They do not believe in legal system. They actually do something. They believe that the legal system is inert, like it has inertia, right? And it is not doing anything. Fine. C, it is a dangerous regression towards a lawless state disguised as moral urgency. So, okay, fine. So here, professor feels that it is a dangerous regression toward a lawless state. Okay, lawless state means what? Something which does not have any law. Okay, disguised as a moral agency. So they feel that it is almost like a moral agency. They feel that it is a moral agency, moral work that they are doing, and they feel the state is lawless, and of course as per professor it is a dangerous regression, right? So can we have C as our answer? Yes, it describes the professor's final stance on vigilante justice. What kind of justice is this? It is dangerous regression, right? Yes. So C part can be kept. D part, it is a humanistic alternative to the cold procedural science of the state. No, not at all humanistic, because it is you are defaming someone, and it can actually kill his life if he is innocent, right? So therefore, definitely it is not humanistic. D part goes away. The right answer is C. Question number 6. Your answer should be C. See, as you can very well understand that with practice, your confidence level is going to go up, right? So keep watching, and until next time when we go across and still have one more or further so many more RCs coming across your way to practice for, right? One thing is important. I would want you people to go through them almost like religiously, because it is going to help you. Don't think that you're going to just pile it up and one fine day you're going to start working on it. It is not going to work for you. Okay. So every day or every alternate day, just make it a point that you go through these questions, go through these RCs, see what is going wrong, right, and then you can also get in touch with me, and I'll be here to help you. Take care, guys. Until next time, Shashank signing off on from iQuanta.